My whole life is about making things, and I have had problems in the past trying to do something and it didn't work out, but it's okay. Just keep going and start something new. As long as I'm making something, that's where it's at. I started processing photographs around 1980. I lived in Iowa. I worked for a photographer who did family portraits and weddings. He had a basement darkroom, and I started just learning from scratch how to process color film and used a large roller transport machine. And in 1983, I moved with my family here to Baltimore and started working at Blakeslee Lane. So I worked making internegatives, Cibachrome prints, and then I was assistant lab manager for a while doing the quality control, doing color corrections. Then in about 1989, I started my own business, small darkroom in a basement, and started working for other photographers. So I was used to setting up darkrooms in various places. As I knew that digital was going to start to take over the world, I would have to change and not do photo processing with chemicals. I decided I would become a photographer. I did photography for about, I would say maybe 5 years total, and realized that I didn't want to be asked to do any more weddings, so I sold all my photography equipment, which was probably a big mistake. I was around late 40s, getting close to 50 years old, and thought I needed a big change in my life, and started learning bookkeeping to do that for other people. I started doing wood turning, I started doing sewing. When I do something, I like to put everything into it, and I do it too much. So with my sewing, it caused extreme wrist pain and couldn't do that anymore. When Edwin asked me to work for him, it was well after he had switched over to digital, so I knew there wouldn't be any chemical processing, and I was okay with that. And it feels good to be in both worlds right now. There are advantages to each and disadvantages to each. I really missed it and really feel excited about being in that field again. And I think having done photography helps me with photo processing more, because I know more about lighting than I used to. I do feel that my darkroom skills translated into the skills I'm learning with Lightroom and Photoshop. I like the feeling of making things better, enhance the craft from the photographer. I don't mind not being the original artist, and I try to focus on minute details that no one cares about, but it helps in the improvement of a photograph. And I think that's why I'm well suited to doing post-production work, because I like to focus on those little tiny details. Working at Edwin's is great fun because it's out on a farm. There's a lot of sheep out in the pasture and dogs running around. I can bring my own dog with me to work. And the whole environment makes me feel very relaxed and in a learning mood for my work, because it's a very casual atmosphere, and I feel like I can really focus on learning new skills with Lightroom and with Photoshop because I'm in a very relaxed environment. It's very inspiring working out at Remsburg Inc. because of the entire organization of people that Edwin brings in from different backgrounds and different talents with videography and framing photography, graphic design, photo processing. I like to make prints because I like to create something from nothing, or take a piece of film and make a print out of it. I like to make things. That's what I like to do, and that's why I like to be out at the farm making photographs.